Hey travelers and history lovers, welcome back to Touropedia Universal, where we bring the world's most breathtaking destinations right to your screen. And today, get ready, because we're diving into the heart of ancient Egypt. I'm here in the legendary city of Luxor, once known as Thebes, the ancient capital of the pharaohs. And let me tell you, it's like walking through a living, open-air museum, from the colossal pillars of Karnak Temple to the hauntingly beautiful Valley of the Kings, where the boy king Tutankhamun still rests. Every corner of this city is bursting with 5,000 years of history. We'll explore the majestic Luxor Temple, the towering Colossi of Memnon, and climb the terraces of Hatshepsut's Mortuary Temple, one of the most powerful women to ever rule Egypt. And that's not all. We'll also unlock the secrets of Medinet Habu, the grand temple of Ramesses III, and take a closer look at ancient treasures inside the Luxor Museum, mummies, statues, and artifacts that whisper stories from the past. So if you're ready for a journey through time, through myths, mysteries, and monumental architecture, join me as we uncover the soul of ancient Egypt right here in Luxor. Pack your sense of wonder, hit that like button, and let's begin our unforgettable adventure. The Karnak Temple Complex, commonly known as Karnak, comprises a vast mix of temples, pylons, chapels, and other buildings near Luxor, Egypt. Construction at the complex began during the reign of Senusret I, reigned 1971 to 1926 BC in the Middle Kingdom, circa 2000 to 1700 BC, and continued into the Ptolemaic Kingdom 305 to 30 BC. Although most of the extant buildings date from the New Kingdom, the area around Karnak was the ancient Egyptian Hatshepsut, the most selected of places, and the main place of worship of the 18th dynastic Theban triad, with the god Amun as its head. The original name of the temple was Hatshepsut, meaning the most select of places. The complex's modern name, Karnak, comes from the nearby village of El Karnak, which means fortified village. The complex is a vast open site and includes the Karnak Open Air Museum. It is believed to be the second most visited historical site in Egypt. Only the Giza Pyramid Complex near Cairo receives more visits. It consists of 4 main parts, of which only the largest is currently open to the public. The term Karnak often is understood as being the precinct of Amun-Re only, because this is the only part most visitors see. The 3 other parts, the precinct of Mut, the precinct of Montu, and the dismantled temple of Amenhotep IV, are closed to the public. The Great Hypostyle Hall in the precinct of Amun-Re has an area of 50,000 square feet, 5,000 square meters, with 134 massive columns arranged in 16 rows. 122 of these columns are 10 meters, 33 feet tall, and the other 12 are 21 meters, 69 feet tall, with a diameter of over 3 meters, 9.8 feet. The architraves on top of these columns are estimated to weigh 70 tons. These architraves may have been lifted to these heights using levers. This would be a time-consuming process and also would require great balance to get to such heights. A common alternative theory regarding how they were moved is that large ramps were constructed of sand, mud, brick, or stone, and that the stones were then towed up the ramps. The top of the ramps presumably would have employed either wooden tracks or cobblestones for towing the megaliths. There is an unfinished pillar in an out-of-the-way location that indicates how it would have been finished. Final carving was executed after the drums were put in place so that it was not damaged while being placed. The Avenue of Sphinxes, which went in a straight line for about 2,700 meters between the Luxor Temple and the Karnak area, was lined with human-headed sphinxes. In ancient times, it is probable that these replaced earlier sphinxes, which may have had different heads. 6 bark shrines, serving as way stations for the barks of the gods during festival processions, were set up on the avenue between the Karnak and Luxor Temple. Along the avenue, the stations were set up for ceremonies such as the Feast of Opet, which held significance to the temple. Each station had a purpose. For example, the 4th station was the station of Kamari, which cooled the ore of a moon. The 5th station of Kamar was the station which received the beauty of a moon. Lastly, the 6th station of Kamar was a shrine for a moon, holy of steps. The Luxor Temple is a large ancient Egyptian temple complex located on the east bank of the Nile River in the city today known as Luxor, ancient Thebes, and was constructed approximately 1400 BCE. In the Egyptian language, it was known as Ipet Resit, the Southern Sanctuary. It was one of the 2 primary temples on the east bank, the other being Karnak. Unlike the other temples in Thebes, Luxor Temple is not dedicated to a cult god or a deified version of the pharaoh in death. Instead, Luxor Temple is dedicated to the rejuvenation of kingship. It may have been where many of the pharaohs of Egypt were crowned in reality. To the rear of the temple are chapels built by Amenhotep, the 3rd of the 18th dynasty, in Alexander. Other parts of the temple were built by Tutankhamun and Ramesses II. During the Roman era, the temple and its surroundings were a legionary fortress and the home of the Roman government in the area. The active Abu Haggag Mosque is located within the temple, standing on the ancient columns themselves. That part of the Luxor Temple was converted to a church by the Romans in 395 AD, and then to a mosque around 640 AD, which is more than 3,400 years of continuous religious worship. The Temple of Ramesses III at Medinet Habu was an important New Kingdom period temple structure in the West Bank of Luxor in Egypt. Aside from its size and architectural and artistic importance, the Mortuary Temple is probably best known as the source of inscribed reliefs depicting the advent and defeat of the Sea Peoples during the reign of Ramesses III, including the Battle of the Delta. The temple, some 150 meters, 490 feet long, is of Orthodox design and closely resembles the nearby Mortuary Temple of Ramesses II, the Ramesseum. The temple precinct measures approximately 210 meters by 300 meters and contains more than 7,000 square meters, 75,347 square feet, of decorated wall reliefs. Its walls are relatively well preserved, and it is surrounded by a massive mud brick enclosure, which may have been fortified. Valley of the Kings, also known as the Valley of the Gates of the Kings, is an area in Egypt where, for a period of nearly 500 years from the 18th dynasty to the 20th dynasty, rock-cut tombs were excavated for pharaohs and powerful nobles under the New Kingdom of ancient Egypt. It is a wadi sitting on the west bank of the Nile, opposite Thebes, modern-day Luxor, and within the heart of the Theban necropolis. The Valley of the Kings is known to contain 65 tombs and chambers. The royal tombs are decorated with traditional scenes from Egyptian mythology and reveal clues to the period's funerary practices and afterlife beliefs. Almost all of the tombs seem to have been opened and robbed in antiquity, but they still give an idea of the opulence and power of Egypt's pharaohs. This area has been a focus for Egyptologists and archaeological exploration since the end of the 18th century, and its tombs and burials continue to stimulate research and interest. The Valley of the Kings garnered significant attention following the discovery of the tomb of Tutankhamun in 1922, and is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world. Mortuary Temple of Hatshepsut is a mortuary temple built during the reign of Pharaoh Hatshepsut of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. Located opposite the city of Luxor, it is considered to be a masterpiece of ancient architecture. Its three massive terraces rise above the desert floor and into the cliffs of Deir el-Bahari. Hatshepsut's tomb, KV-20, lies inside the same massif capped by El Qurn, a pyramid for her mortuary complex. At the edge of the desert, 1 kilometer, 0.62 miles east, connected to the complex by a causeway, lies the accompanying Valley Temple. Across the River Nile, the whole structure points towards the monumental 8th pylon, Hatshepsut's most recognizable addition to the Temple of Karnak, and the site from which the procession of the beautiful festival of the valley departed. Its axes identify the temple's twin functions. Its central east-west axis served to receive the bark of a moon ray at the climax of the festival, while its north-south axis represented the life cycle of the pharaoh from coronation to rebirth. The Colossi of Memnon are two massive stone statues of the pharaoh Amenhotep III, which stand at the front of the ruined mortuary temple of Amenhotep III, the largest temple in the Theban necropolis. They have stood since 1350 BC and were well known to ancient Greeks and Romans, as well as early modern travelers and Egyptologists. The statues contain 107 Roman-era inscriptions in Greek and Latin, dated to between AD 20 and 250. Many of these inscriptions on the northernmost statue make reference to the Greek mythological king Memnon, whom the statue was then, erroneously, thought to represent. The Luxor Museum was inaugurated in 1975. The range of artifacts on display is far more restricted than the collections in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. This was, however, deliberate on the quality of the pieces and the clear multilingual labeling used among the items on display are grave goods from the tomb of the 18th dynasty pharaoh Tutankhamun and a collection of 26 New Kingdom statues that were found buried in the Luxor statue cache in the nearby Luxor Temple in 1989. The royal mummies of two pharaohs, Ahmose I and Ramesses I, were also put on display in the Luxor Museum in March 2004 as part of the new extension to the museum, which includes a small visitor center. A major exhibit is a reconstruction of one of the walls of Akhenaten's temple at Karnak. One of the featured items in the collection is a calcite double statue of the crocodile god Sobek in the 18th dynasty pharaoh Amenhotep III.